Okay, Paul Cox, the side have got a fortnight's break from league fixtures. What do you think needs working on during that period?
Well, we've just come, we're going to the break on the back of a win. So I just want to keep the lads buoyed, if I'm honest, and keep the fitness levels high. As of late, we haven't really been playing particularly badly. We've just not been getting the wins I thought we've deserved. So, no, it's just keeping the mindset right. It's keeping them focused. And like I say, more importantly, just keeping fitness levels topped up.
You got a win on Saturday. That was a change from the kind of draws. What was the difference? What enabled you to grind out that win?
I suppose you might say a bit of luck. I don't think in the other games that we've had that little bit of luck. We've scored a goal. I thought first half, we played with the wind. We didn't affect the game well enough. But second half, I thought we defended well and scored an opportunist goal, and then defended well, till the end. So, but I thought it was just a bit of luck. We've not had a great deal of luck of late with in both boxes. So, but we haven't played particularly well. We've not played particularly badly. So, it's just about, like I say, just keeping the lads focused now.
And we're well into the January transfer window. Have you got any targets?
I've always got targets. Yeah, it's it's about pounds and pence. There's a lot of players being banded around. Some for extortionate amounts of money. And we've got to look closely at what we need, what's out there, and how much it's going to cost. So, but yeah, just to answer the question, we've got one or two targets.
Give us some clues then.
In terms of, I've got that many that we'd have to sit here till 6 o'clock tonight. But no, there is targets. We're always on the lookout. We're speaking to players. We're speaking to agents. It'd be unfair, I think, to talk about other people's players at this minute before anything's done. But there is a numerous amount of targets that we're looking for.
You're looking at youngsters coming up from lower leagues, or you're looking to recruit people from the Football League?
A bit of both, if I'm honest, and players from our league as well. I think there is going to be a bit of a merry-go-round in this window. And I think one thing I can say is that certain clubs are going to mark their intention in terms of the January transfer window. They're going to probably bring one or two in to see if they can, one, get themselves in the playoffs or win the championship, or two, try and avoid relegation. So I expect there to be a lot of movement, but we're going to be looking at all three different types of players: Football League, our level, and below.
I mean, you've put in some good performances without getting the points on the board sort of necessarily, but who do you think has been the standout player for you in the first half of the season? Any names you'd like to mention? People have done really, really well, maybe exceeded expectations.
Well, you've got to look at Matt Green, haven't you, with the amount of goals he scored. But people might call him a bit of a surprise package. But you look at Lyndon Meikle. He's stepped up to this level of football. He's been a consistent performer. He knows personally he can get better at one or two things, but he's represented his country, already in his first season at this level. So I don't think you can look beyond those two. But I think there's been our consistency. If you look at, we've only lost 5 games in the league all season. Our consistency as a whole has been good. It's only really been in the cup games that we've let ourselves down in terms of our results. But if we could, like I've said numerous times now, that if we'd have turned just over half of the draws into wins, which Absolutely. We've been in a strong position in all those games, we'd be sat in the top 3 now. So we know what we've got to do. We've had a few hearts with the players, and they know what's needed now for the last 19 games of the season, and we're going to work very hard to try and achieve what we wanted at the beginning of the season.
Inevitably, I'm going to mention the P word. Is promotion still on?
Well, I think the playoffs is we're one of a group of teams that I think are capable of, you look at the table points wise as well, are capable of getting in there. We've had a good look through our fixtures, and we've set certain goals, and the players have set certain goals as well. And we're going to work really hard. I don't want to be sitting here shouting from the rooftops that we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But going back to the beginning of the season, what we gave the thing that we set the targets we set the lads is that we come Christmas time we'd be still in the pack chasing the playoffs, and we're coming around the bend now and we're still in that pack. Win a game in hand, and like you say, I think now between now and the end of the season, it really is anybody's. It's one of sort of 9 clubs. Any one of those 9 clubs can get in the playoffs.
That's great.
You've got Adam Chapman in training with you. Is that with a view to a loan?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, we've got to. Obviously, it was a case of looking at him over, a small period of time in terms of the training. But we've got him for a couple of behind closed doors games, and then we'll make a decision on him.
Is this somebody you've been keeping an eye on for a while, or did it just come out of the blue?
If I'm honest, it came out of the blue. It's a couple of the lads know him and knew that he was, he's knocking about. It's one or two people know about a little bit of his history. Lads had a little bit of bad luck, but one thing we can say about the kid is he's a very good player. So, and we're always interested in good players.
What sort of player is he, just for people who haven't seen him?
He's a combative ball player, Matt. The lad can put a foot in. More of I would say a holding midfielder, but the lad can play. The lad can pass the ball. I think the greatest accolade. The biggest thing I can say about him is that when Oxford got promoted, he got the man of the match.
Knowing that he was going to prison a few days later.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but like I say, the lad's had a little bit of bad luck. I think he made a mistake that all of us could have made, and it's a bit unfortunate. But the lad's got a new lease of life now. He wants to get himself fit, wants to get himself strong, and wants to get himself playing. So, if we can help us, and then that's good for both parties.
As far as Oxford are concerned, though, that they will want him back. It won't be a case of him coming here with a view.
That I'm unsure about at the minute. What we did, we've taken it, one stage at a time. They've said just come and have a look at him. He needs some games. They understand that he needs to, for that level. He probably needs to be that little bit fitter, that little bit sharper. But once again, like I say, he's a Retford lad. He's a local boy, and you never know what might be around the corner. But we've got to be respectful to Oxford. He's their player at the end of the day, and. We'll abide by what they say, which is we've got a couple of days, a couple of games, and a few training sessions. So we'll assess him on that, and then sit down with Oxford after that.
Initially, just a month, you think, or?
I don't even think it'll be a month. Sorry.
Loan.
Yeah, well, we haven't really got long between now and then in the season. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we're geared, for every scenario between now and the end of the season. So if it's a month, yeah, it'd be brilliant. If it's to the end of the season, but obviously that's we've got to sit down with Oxford and we've got to abide by their wishes because he's their footballer.
Anybody else in at the moment that worth talking about in terms of trialists?
We're going to have quite a few in. There's going to be one or two surprises in sort of Mondays and Tuesdays game. There's going to be one or two. There's probably one or two high-profile boys, if I'm honest, that are knocking around. But at this minute, nothing's been confirmed, and what I don't want to do is I don't want to come out and make statements and they're not be backed up on Monday and Tuesday.
How was the game against Eastwood? What did you get out of it?
I thought it was excellent. Once again, it's when you play these behind closed doors game, it's important that you play somebody that's going to give you a proper game, and Eastwood gave us a proper game. There were tackles flying in. The lads were worked hard, and we got something out of it. I always say about these behind closed doors games, it doesn't really matter what the scoreline is as long as people are getting the match fitness. And Adam Smith did excellent. Louis Briscoe got 90 minutes under his belt. And I think the positive thing about Louis Briscoe is that the more the game went on, the stronger he became. So real positive. And we had a look at the trialists, and one or two of them, didn't do bad. So real positive all round.
How many players did you use during the Eastwood game?
In terms of trialists or
overall numbers, did you shuffle it back a fair bit?
No, we only used 15 players. 11 and 4 subs. So. It's not something that I enjoy doing, taking a squad of 22 to these behind closed doors games, because it loses what it's there for. In terms of it's there really for lads to get 90 minutes of football under the belt, and to have a look at a few of the lads we've got coming in for on trial.
You pleased with Adam Smith's attitude coming back from his loan?
Yeah, he looked very sharp, if I'm honest, and you know, I'm hoping Adam, you know, obviously he can't go back to Aldershot, you know, on loan. Whether, you know, I've heard nothing from any other club, and part of me is happy with that. You know, if he wants to come back and he wants to get his head down and win himself another contract or play to get himself a move elsewhere, then first and foremost he's got to be playing in somebody's first team. You know, and if he performs like he did on Tuesday night, you know, in tough conditions again, you know, it wasn't an easy game, but he worked extremely hard, and ability-wise, you know, we know what Adam can do. So, you know, with Adam coming back, it's like signing a Football League player.
How's Tomo? Have you got the results of that yet?
He's going to Lilleshall, I think next week, you know, just for a week, but realistically he's been given the all clear by the specialist. So hopefully we send him off to Lilleshall just to make sure, you know, he has a week's intense fitness and that he's looked after, you know, and he comes back to us, you know, ready to train, you know, and hopefully won't be too far away from the first team then.
How long do you think, roughly?
I'd like to think if he's spending a week at Lilleshall, he'll be back into the frame straight away. You know, I don't think Tomo will want to be sat twiddling his thumbs if he's fully match fit, and obviously we don't want him sitting there twiddling his thumbs.